Hello, dear friends. As you know, if you've been following me, I'm a writer. I write science fiction and fantasy. Back in about 2014, I submitted a proposal to my editor for a science fiction novel that pitted machines that could control people's thoughts and behaviors in the hands of a power-mad tyrant with natural telepathy that was the only hope of stopping this. The book, I think it's reversed. It is not reversed. I'm sorry, it's the Laren Gambit, and it's readily available in all the usual vendors. And I'd like to read you a scene. My heroine, whose name is Bryn, is going to meet her mentor on an academic planet. And this is what she sees. Along the way, she passed a stand that offered news flimsies and screen displays where pedestrians could stand and view the feeds. As she approached, her gaze was captured by a headline that Space Force ships had made orbit around Vainwall. A story from later that same day focused on planet-wide martial law. There had been riots on Rennie and several other worlds, with footage of protesters being loaded into police vans. Her spine stiffened as a new video image flickered across the screen. The first few moments were chillingly familiar. A demonstration in a mall or plaza, numbering in the thousands. She didn't recognize the place, but the architecture in the background looked typical for a medium-sized city on any of a dozen Alliance worlds. Nausea washed over her, and with flashes of memory, she tasted tear gas at the back of her throat. This was Alpha, she told herself sternly, the most civilized of environments, but she did not feel safe and wondered if she ever would again. On the screen, the crowd had fallen still, all at once, or so it seemed. Raised fists lowered. Signs dropped to the ground. Movement ceased. The people, as far as she could tell, just stood there. They gave no sign of paying any attention to one another. They barely seemed to be breathing. Bryn had never seen anything like it outside a horror vid. Then, without any visible signal, the people began emptying the plaza, individual participants staring blankly ahead as they shuffled along. Below the image, the newscaster's commentary scrolled across the screen. Following orders to disperse peacefully, the citizenry of Rennie City returned to their normal, productive lives. What the hell? Someone behind Bryn muttered. A group of pedestrians had gathered to watch the newscast. In their faces, she saw the reflection of her own consternation. They all decided to give up and go home? A young blonde woman murmured to her companion. She was clearly a student by her satchel covered with irreverent patches. What? Another viewer said from near the back of the group, just because someone in authority asked them nicely? Well, I know you wouldn't be so meek. How is this possible? The young woman's friend said. All of them at the same time? It isn't possible, Bryn replied. And then she thinks, groups can be dispersed by various methods, some more coercive than others, but none of those methods work for everybody at the same time. There should be a mix of compliance and resistance. Some people would withdraw, but they would talk about why they were leaving, what happened, whether the demonstration was successful, even where they were going to have dinner. Something, not this this mute, unquestioning obedience. "I don't believe it," said an older man in a professor's quintessential tweed and shaggy gray hair. "This footage must surely be a hoax." "Whose side are you on, anyway?" one of the students demanded. "Attacks on the free press are the hallmarks of an emerging totalitarian state." "That's hardly the point," the young woman said. "Consider the objective of publicizing such an event, whether real or fabricated." "Clearly, it's to discourage dissent by advocating by example the peaceful dissolution of protest assemblies," her friend answered. The two of them went off debating the matter in an animated fashion. The professorial type had faded into the stream of foot traffic. Bryn glanced back at the screen. While she and the other viewers had been talking, the crowd on the plaza had thinned noticeably. Still, there was almost no noise. She searched for police presence in the scene and, after a few moments, found it. They were clustered around a platform several meters tall that was surmounted by an apparatus. It didn't look like either surveillance or sound projection equipment, although she could not think what else it might be. The matte, unreflective black box-like structure bristled with antennas. The device remained in Bryn's memory, menacing and enigmatic, as she hurried to her rendezvous. I wrote this in 2014. Even now it brings chills down my spine, that scene that popped into my head. So, read books. Demonstrate. Don't shut up. Don't comply in advance. We will take our country back. Be well.